Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome everyone to Where Energy Meets the Divine. Thank you for liking and subscribing below. And for all of you listening on podcast stations, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be a part of helping humanity have greater experiences in their life, because it's truly what brings me great joy. So before we go to the phone lines, and thank you so much for leaving me more voicemails. I'm grateful, as this is one of my favorite things to do every week. So thank you very much. Let's talk about our beautiful brains. So we have these incredible brains that, as you know from listening to me over and over again, that our brain is created for logical experiences only. It's really crucial for all of us to get to know ourselves really well so that we have an understanding of what brings us personal joy. And in the process of, understanding what brings you personal joy, you're able then to manage your brain. You don't want your brain just to run around complaining and being unhappy, focused on negative things. That is part of the human condition. So that isn't part of your personality. This is a pattern where you get caught up in watching negative news, listening to your mind over and over again in negative ways, having negative conversations with others. Gossiping is a form of negativity. Listening to the news often, not a good idea. I mean, do you really need to know all the things that are happening around the world that are terrible? Do you really need to know that information? Probably not. And if something were to be happening in your neck of the woods, I'm sure someone's going to text you about it or talk about it, where if you need to know, the information will be there. So maybe for a couple of weeks, so you can do some research on this topic, is lower your consumption of negativity and lower your output of negativity. This will help raise your vibration and your frequency and allow you to be attracted to those things that are actually in your highest good, which allows you to be a part of the world in its highest good. And then your brain can work with you in a positive and powerful way, rather than working against you and reminding you to watch news and read negativity and speak about gossip. That's just part of the human condition. That's not truly who you are. It's not truly what you're meant to be listening to or experiencing in your daily life. It has nothing to do with your present moment, most likely. And the present moment is calm, it's compassionate, it's joyful, it's a little bit surprising in a good way, in a very positive way. So learn to get to know yourself and manage your mind as often as possible. Be around and create positive energy for yourself. That's incredible. And thank you all for being here. So now I'm going to go on to the other podcast part of this time that we have together. And again, I love doing this. As many of you know, I did radio for at least 14 years. I don't know what year I actually started. And I loved radio too, but this is a little bit quieter. I can hear the questions a little bit better, and I get to do a little bit more teaching. So I'm in heaven. So I'm going to move on to my next level of heaven and start listening to your beautiful questions and give you my personal intuitive answers. Now, sometimes you may think, well, she said that to the last person. Some people need the same information, but I'm always reading you individually. And even though I'm reading people individually, the information could be used for many, 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 many people. So there are some times where I will answer clearly a similar question in a different way, just because that person needs a different response. Okay, so here we go.
Hi, Marie. How do you heal traumatic and self-destructive memories from childhood? I have been on this path for several years. I have done a lot of inner work, but in my early 40s, I do have traumatic memories from childhood that flow into my field. Do you believe the past, the present, and the future are all happening at the same time? How can I transmute these memories so that I do not feel fragmented and I feel whole? And my logical mind does not tell me that maybe there was some permanent damage that I caused. This is why I am the way I am. And also just to not stop going back there and feeling scared and helpless and a frightened little girl.
Okay, really good question. And it's in alignment with our opening today, which is always a magical thing. You hit the button on the head. You need to stop listening to your brain. And it is your brain. You have control over it. You just need to replace the vibration, the frequencies. So, trauma, and everyone's had trauma. Some people's traumas based on human beliefs are more significant than others, but everyone has had trauma. Everyone. And so it's great to be mindful because there's a lot of people that don't know they have trauma and have done nothing about it. So it's great to be mindful of it and to have done the work that you've done. That's really beautiful. And I'm sure you have some great tools, or I'm assuming that you do. But you also have to stop going back to that place. You have to nurture yourself. It's critical and important that you nurture yourself and not let your mind go to that place. So what happens to a lot of humans when they've had events in their life that they are disappointed about or unhappy about, or they wish had never happened, we tend to, this is a human condition problem. So we've all been trained to do this. When collectively, millions, billions of people are doing the same activity, it kind of gets into our cells, and then we think that's the only way to handle it. So when something hasn't turned out the way we wanted it to, we tend to overthink and analyze and process the situation. And you're not supposed to do that ever. I remember when I was getting divorced, I just kept thinking about a lot of circumstances that happened in the marriage that I was unhappy about, even my choices and decisions that I was not happy with. And my guides were, I would be in the hospital, I'd be working, laying hands on patients, because that's all I wanted to do in the hospital, quite frankly. And my guides would say to me, just stop thinking about it. Don't think about this situation. You've already resolved this. You're moving away from it, and you will continue your healing process. But don't let these thoughts interrupt your day and stop you and lower your vibration and stop you from healing the clients in the new ways that you are, experiencing energy. So you literally have to stop your brain and put something else in your head. You have to learn to think about positive things. And at the same time, you have to be nurturing, like have a conversation with yourself, like, honey, I'm sorry that happened to you. I love you so much. I know you did the very best you could. That's important. Even when we're pretty clear that whatever happened, wasn't our fault, let's say, or we didn't deserve that. But we are manifesting beings, and we are going to blame ourselves, especially old souls. They blame themselves for everything. So you need to nurture yourself, make sure that yourself feels okay. Like, honey, I'm sorry that happened. I love you. I know you did the very best you can. And then force your mind. You have to force your mind to look or think about or feel something that brings you joy. So you need to know what makes you happy. You need to know, like, I know flowers make me happy. So much so that my daughter, peonies are my favorite flower. She had paper peonies flowers made for my birthday one year that I keep in the office all the time. And all my peonies in the yard are about to burst. So I'll have live ones. Well, they'll be dead because I'll cut them in my office, of course, and you'll be able to see them on YouTube or in a class. So that's your homework. You've got to stop this pattern. This is a victim consciousness pattern where we continue to think about the negative things that happened in our life. Even after you've done all this work, you need to learn to control your mind, manage it like you would a dog. Like Charles needs a lot of management. I tell him, leave it, sit, come. He will need that all of his life. So I've learned, and it is a joy to help manage him. So joyfully manage your brain and let your life move on. You deserve it.
My name is Marta, and I'm recording from Italy. And my question is this. Some days ago, While I was back from work, it was the evening, and I was on the train back to go back home. I was kind of dozing. I was tired, and I fell asleep for 1 second, and I felt on my left cheek. I felt like a dog kiss. I felt a smooshy sensation, and immediately I felt my mother's smell, and then I felt sorry immediately because while it was stunning to feel her smell, I felt kind of guilty for this kind of physical sensation that was not so, I didn't like it so much. It felt like a dog which was running fast, smashed on my cheek. And my mom died 1 year and a half ago, and so I wanted to know more about this event, and as well as thanking you. I'm listening to the podcasts, and I'm getting a lot of insights, very precious for me. Thank you again. All the best. Bye.
Thank you, Marta. And you live in one of my favorite countries, Italy. I've been there once, but I had a lot of fun. I was there for 3 weeks and went to Sicily and Rome and Florence and Cinque Terre. Loved it. I can't wait to go back. Okay. So you're a psychic. You did such a great job. This was your mother visiting you. And did you guys have a dog? Or did your mother love dogs? Because sometimes, especially if people haven't been gone very long, a year is not that long. Although I talk to people who've been dead for a month, luckily. Luckily, I'm able to communicate to people who've just died, because sometimes it can be a little tricky when, because not everybody crosses over immediately. Some people stay in the astral plane for weeks on time, but I can even talk to people who are even in the astral plane, which is a blessing. So when someone leaves and they haven't been gone very long, like in your mother's case, someone or something like a family member or a beloved pet will come in first. It's kind of an initiation. When I talk to young children who have crossed, if they have close family members that are on the other side, like a grandparent, their grandparent will usually walk in first, or a parent or someone of that nature will walk in first, especially if they've just crossed. So sometimes there's like a leader who kind of initiates the conversation between worlds. And in your case, it was a dog, which may not be your favorite pet as you were describing it. Even though I don't like face kisses myself, I'm always delighted when Charles sneaks one in. I think it's adorable. So this was a dog that either you had a dog when you were growing up, or your neighbors did, or your mother loved dogs. This is a dog that's passed, that's connected to your family in some way. So the dog came first, and then your mother came. I don't know why you felt guilty. Did you know guilt is not a real emotion? It's a mind-made emotion. It's not authentic. So when anyone feels guilt, they need to banish that, manage their brain, banish it away from their energy, because it is not a helpful vibration. It could be just a pattern that when you're about to have someone love you, adore you, and cherish you, you might go into guilt, which makes me suspicious about how much love you have in your life. So it was a visit from your mother. She loves you. She adores you. She thanks you for caring for her. And she's having fun like a dog. Like, dogs are happy creatures, the majority of them. They have fun. They enjoy themselves. They're very playful. They remind humanity to have fun, which is also a message for you. Please go have fun, and I can't wait to come back to your part of the world. It's a stunning place to visit. I hope that's helpful. Thank you for listening.
Hi, Marie. This is Shanda from Cincinnati. My question is, and I wondered if you could help me discover the source of a pain that I have in my abdomen. It is the sort of hip level, belly button level, slightly to the right, maybe 1 finger over, or 2 finger over to the right from my belly button. It is, sometimes it's sharp, sometimes it's just, it just kind of feels like some sort of inflammation. And I've been to the doctor year before last year. They ran a bunch of tests. They did a scan. They filled up my bladder. They thought I had kidney stones. They thought it was an IUD that was causing some pain. and no one's been able to figure it out, and it's still there, and it worries me, and I don't want to go through another round of tests to figure out what it is. Could it be some intestine? Could it be gallbladder? Could it be kidneys? I do know that I'd have some kidney pain when I don't drink a lot of water. But this is right in the middle, or to the right a little slightly. So I don't know what that is. And if you could use your intuition to kind of scan me and help me figure out what that is, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Shonda. And I'm sorry that you've been in pain, but I'm really happy you went to the doctor and had those tests. That's great. Wonderful. I do feel a slight herniation. It's a slight hernia, which, slight hernias don't have to be repaired necessarily. So if you venture back to the doctor next time, will you please have them check out what I think could be some herniation, which may not even be the pain. So you've had all these tests, which is great. The area that you're having it, especially when you talked about the hip area, there's several things going on. Actually, you're a little bit of a train wreck, in my opinion, because you don't, and you can disagree with me, although we're not on the radio, so you can't really talk back to me. I'm sorry about that. You don't really pay attention to your health. You wait until something's wrong. And I wish everyone would quiet their mind so they can listen to their body talking to them. I recently hurt my back, and I was going to the chiropractor, and things improved. I wasn't in a lot of pain, which is really nice, but they weren't where I wanted them to be. And I was talking to a Pilates teacher, and she suggested this other person who does muscle strengthening. And when she spoke to him, because I do pay attention to my body, I just had to like that would be a really great thing to do. And of course, after he spent an hour with me, he realized it was a different part of my body that needed to be strengthened. And of course, I have zero back pain now as I'm strengthening other muscles in my body that need some strengthening. So train wreck is a little bit of an exaggeration. You don't have any serious health issues from my perception, but I do love it when people go to doctors and have checkups. Even though I'm a medical intuitive, I'm not 100% accurate. And God made doctors too, and ultrasound and CT scanners and all of those things. I get regular checkups, so I always recommend people to do so as well. And you did, so thank you. Along with this slight herniation that I will not leave my medical intuitive reading, your hip, this kind of hip pain is because remember, energy is what happens first. Energy has to shift before we have symptoms. So by the time we have a symptom of something, the energy's been off for quite a while. This is another reason why humanity needs to learn to feel their body and be present with their energy and start to have awareness, which we are beginning to do, which is amazing. You will not move forward in your life. You're holding yourself back. That's what hips energetically represent, is moving forward in my life. So when people have hip issues, they need a hip replacement, they have hip pain, it means they're not moving forward in their life. They're holding themselves still. So I would love for you to do some meditation on that topic, because I can hear you already. Well, in what area? What am I not doing? And, that would be a private session, and I book out very far in advance. So that's not possible at this time. So I'd love you to meditate. And when you do some meditation, just maybe have the question or do some automatic writing where you write it at the top of a page. Please express to me whatever's in my highest good about moving forward. Be general in your conversation to the universe. The universe knows everything we need to know. We're not wording our language to give clarity to the universe. We're wording our language so that our ego will be quiet and sit back and allow us to receive the information that we deserve. So next time you go to the doctor, you don't have to run, because I think this is a small hernia, if my medical insight is correct. And your job is to start to move forward in your life. That means something that you've been wanting to do or that you believe would make you happy, you actually need to go out and do it, experience it, explore it. And please take probiotics. Please make sure your gut is healthy, because when you said intestines, I had a little bit more of that. There's several things going on here. Make sure you're doing probiotics. Do not eat wheat, avoid dairy, all of those things, so you won't have any more pain. And pain, regardless of where it is or why it's there, is an energetic expression of repressed emotional pain. And you have the emotional pain about moving forward and claiming your magnificence. So please do. Thank you.
Hello, Marie. This is Anita from Lubbock, Texas. Good to listen to your podcasts. I wanted to ask you a question. My issue that I'm having is like I worry about running out of money or having lack of money, but at the same time, I do have a good amount of savings in my bank balance, in case I did have emergencies or any kind of major expenses come up. But for some reason, on the back of my mind, I always seem to have some kind of worry and stress about running out. Is there any advice you have on how to remove that kind of mindset? Because I don't want to attract lack because I'm fearing lack, if that makes sense. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Anita. You're welcome. And what a great question. I do talk about wealth a lot on this podcast because everyone is meant to be financially free. Wouldn't the world be amazing if we had financial freedom? We probably wouldn't even need as much government if we all had lots of freedom financially, right? I'm not against government, but things would be very different if people had a lot more financial freedom. So you're reminding me of a dear friend of mine who has beautiful wealth as well. And I always tell her all the time, money is not your issue. Stop thinking about it. So I'm telling you, wealth, money, resources, finances are not your issue. So stop thinking about it. This is your brain. The brain acts erratically because humans don't manage it. They think that their brain is just like this magical, highly conscious aspect of humanity. And that is not true in the way that humanity uses their brain. It's a logical tool to help you navigate logical things on Earth, because we live in a third dimensional space where we have to do things. We have to eat food. We have to buy food. We have to drive cars. We have to ride bikes. We have to transfer funds. We have to take care of animals. We have to clean homes. I mean, it's endless, the logical, practical things we have to do in a physical reality to exist here. Like if we don't eat, we die. If you don't wear the right clothing, you could get sunburned or freeze to death. Like that's what your mind was created for. And if you only use your mind, or for the most part use your mind for that type of activity, then the rest of your brain will relax and your third eye can show you images or audio sensations, auditory sensations, or feelings or smells that are intuitive. So the third eye projects your intuition, which really comes from your auric field, the emotional response system, your intuition. But the third eye projects these things into the world if you quiet your brain. So your job, Anita, I think I said your name correctly, is that when you start to worry about wealth, you have to stop your brain, refocus, recalibrate your energy, and focus on something that brings you joy. Always, for the rest of your life. And then you'll even have more money, more. So do this and maybe write in at some point and tell me how it worked. Okay? Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. This is Jane Ann, and I'm living in Spain. I'm a Reiki master and working in the physical training and mystical arts. Besides my training and experience, I'm reaching out to you because your experience, Marie, reminds me of my older sister, Jennifer. She was a nurse. She loved working with the elderly and liked working those night shifts. She had frequent encounters with those who had crossed to the other side. I called her the reluctant mystic because she didn't seek out her experiences and told very few people other than me about them.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we lost Jennifer rather suddenly in 2022 to a brain tumor and treatments that just went wrong. What I would like to know is if you're able to connect with her. I would also appreciate hearing any guidance you might be able to offer regarding relaunching of my spiritual work and any guidance for me with regard to helping my adult son. Many thanks.
Thank you, Jane. And that's just adorable about your sister. You're right. She really did not want to be seen, which could be something that she'll work on in future lifetimes because she, had all these beautiful gifts. In the hospital where I worked, because I didn't work in any clinics, so I can't speak for that, but I'm sure it's true there. Many nurses had multisensory experiences in the hospital, maybe doctors too, but they were not in the coffee rooms that I experienced. And of course, I have friends who are physicians who have incredible mystical experiences. So I think sometimes people who are drawn to the medical field have mystical experiences with their patients. There is an intuitive muscle that is already present or awakens when you work with people with compassion and kindness, especially when you work in hospitals or large facilities where many people go and sometimes people pass or people are born there. There's gateways that are open around these facilities and within them so that souls can come and go, and that creates opportunities for humans to have their psychic abilities awakened because there's so much stimulation from the multisensory world. But she really did not want this to be publicized. So I think we need to respect that, right? Like everyone gets to make their own decisions and their choices. And I believe people leave the planet at the perfect moment for them and the way they want to die. Brain tumors are harder to treat because it's hard to get chemicals past the blood-brain barrier. So there's this barrier, as you're infusing a chemical through a vein, sometimes it's not sometimes it's the drugs that we know of now, right? It's difficult for them to move through the blood-brain barrier and actually affect tumors in the brain. And that's why people don't always survive brain tumors. It depends on the type of tumor and the location and all of those things. But souls are making those decisions before they reincarnate about how they would like to die. Because souls don't think of death at all. They know if they're going to come to Earth, yes, they're, for now, based on the consciousness on our planet, their body's going to have to die in some way in order for their energy to be released so that they can have a different experience in another dimension, because we don't want to just stay in one dimension forever. Even glaciers eventually want to die so that their energy can be released and they can cross into another reality and have a different experience. Everything is energy. Everything has a soul. Worms, soil, trees, everything is alive. Indoor, outdoor carpet, walls, everything has energy. So she's not, she's actually fulfilled. And she says she's direct, your sister, which I think a lot of intuitive people can be direct and are more direct because we're getting information into our awareness that our brain would not think of. And we've learned to quiet our minds so we can allow this channeling experience to occur. And she says, stop trying to fix everything. She goes, why did you want to make me different than I was? Why are you trying to make your son different than he is? She says, use your awareness to help people you don't know. That is where where the ease and flow will be for you. She says, stop trying to navigate the family. And I know that you're only doing it out of kindness and love, but I think her advice is effective. It's not the first time I've heard it today, actually. So don't be so concerned about the people in your life that you love. Some healers are meant to heal their families, although I've only met one who was clear that her role within her family was and is celebrated and cherished. Most healers come to Earth to heal the general public, but some of them get bogged down in trying to heal their family. And you can tell right away where you're supposed to be putting your energy, because when a true healer is putting his or her energy in the right direction, they are fed energetically, number one, that they are appreciated and they are valued. When you are working with a population that's not in your best interest, you have the opposite experience. So stop thinking about your family, stop worrying about them, just let them have their experiences. Stop worrying about it. Stop making a determination of what's right or wrong. This message came to me once. I have a brother, who, I should have said a sibling, but a brother who's, has drug addictions and has since he was, probably in his 20s, and he's probably 56 now. We rarely see him. We don't know where he is most of the time. He's not open to help or anything of that nature. It's amazing that he's still, here on the planet, and we're so grateful that he is. And I tried so hard to help him. He wouldn't even come to my house, let alone lay on my massage table. And the universe said to me one day when I was like, oh, why can't I help him? If I can help someone I don't even know, why can't I help my own, family member? And creation said to me, God, the universe said, what's wrong with his life? Why are you trying to change it? He is actually doing exactly what is in his best interest for this lifetime that he is currently experiencing right now. I was shocked. This man has 5 children. He doesn't know them. He doesn't know his former wives. He doesn't hang out with them. But the universe was right. We don't always know what a past life was for other people, or multiple past lives that someone has had. And some people have overworked, they've overgiven, they've overdone, and they don't know how to break that pattern. They don't know how to stop and just let go and kind of mess up. And so sometimes, and this is what the universe said to me, that because my sibling was not being responsible for anyone, including himself, really. I mean, he focuses on himself because he has certain needs that he needs to have, so he believes. But that's exactly what he's supposed to be doing, because he has to learn to stop being in the vibration of over giving and over nurturing and taking care of lots and lots and lots of people from previous lifetimes. Who knows, maybe he owned an orphanage in past lives and was devoted, for all of his lifetime to those individuals and never learned how to have fun. So sometimes the pendulum swings really far to one side before it can come into the middle. And I believe that's what's happening for my brother. So let's honor the choices that people make, and let's use our energy in the populations that are in our best interest, where we have the flow of light and love to us. Those are my thoughts. I hope some of those were helpful. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Valerie, and I am looking for some guidance in my next step in life. I am just about to retire after 40 years of working, and just lost my father and moved from our house of 30 years to his house of 40 years, and have just been buried with all of the items that both houses have. And I just kind of want a reading on what my next steps are. I feel like there's a book in me, but I also feel like I need to get organized. So just kind of want a reading on what my next steps are. Thank you so much for everything you do, Marie. I love you. Thank you.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
thank you, Valerie. I love you, and I love all of you with all my heart. I do think you need to get organized. I think you need to hire someone to help you. This is way too much work. I even hire people to move big furniture for me. Yes, I have son-in-laws, but they're really busy and they work really hard, so they don't always have time to come over and move big pieces of furniture for me. So I would hire some people, maybe even a consultant of some sort, so that you can figure out what you really want to keep and what you want to donate or sell, or something like that. I think that would be a great idea. I think that's a good transformation from your work. And I'm so grateful that you're retiring. You did work about 10 years too long. This is my interpretation, in your previous job, meaning that you probably should have done something else, but maybe that wouldn't have allowed you to have all of the retirement benefits that you desire from this company, which I think we need to change that up in the world, or probably just the United States. European nations probably do it very, very differently. They seem to be more conscientious of individual free time and the flow of resources for people, for most people. At least that's what I feel when I'm in Europe. So yes, you need to do that. Please write many, 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 many books. I think that would be a great idea. I think that would be a lovely idea. I think that would be wonderful for you. I do think, along with maybe hiring someone to help you take care of all this stuff, because that's a lot of stuff, that will help you to relax and get away from the work energy, because you do need a little bit of a sabbatical. Sometimes we need time to stop before we reboot. Like sometimes they'll tell you to unplug your internet if your computer is working weird, and trying to see if it's just from that you have to leave it out for a minute or two before you plug it in. So you need a minute or two, which really means much more time than that, maybe even a year of just relaxing and recharging and remembering what it feels like to not rush or work unless you want to do things that bring you great joy. I would still rest so that you can get into that vibration of what brings me great joy. And can I allow myself to have those experiences instead of still working so hard? Thank you.
Hello, Marie. I'm Hilde. I live in Ghent, Belgium. I work as a psychotherapist, and when I'm doing my job, I feel a lot of energy, and I still like the people I meet in my practice, and I still love helping them find their inner healer. But most times I don't feel as satisfied. I'm quite tired afterwards, and I'm not that looking forward to my working days as before. I'm wondering myself how I will continue my work as a psychotherapist. I want to find something that supports my job as a psychotherapist, where I can receive more fulfillment. For the moment, I put my focus on beginning as a sweat lodge leader. That's in line with that I would love to work more spiritually with the invisible healing powers. As a child, I was quite sensible to them. Sometimes I ask myself if I have to reduce my work with people and thus work on my own. Though I have this job with people, and though I also have a warm family with a good husband and 4 children, I feel quite lonely. I also miss the energy to meet people outside my family and work because I'm quite tired. I would love to have more energy to enjoy life and feel the connection with more like-hearted people. Can you give me some guidance? Thanks a lot. And thanks for the beautiful, beautiful work you're doing. I appreciate it a lot. I like it. Wow, it's inspiring. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Hildy. You are precious. And thank you for all the work you do in the world. You have helped so many people so beautifully. And you feel that energy because you have natural healing abilities. But I think you need to change the population of people you work with. No more psychotherapy. Of course, you never have to do anything I say. Everybody has free will. You get to do whatever you want and you get to figure out your own timeline. But I would love it if you work with a different population of people. So people who are, let's say, more spiritually aware, are motivated, have already had plenty of therapy and wellness care and know how to help their inner demons, because we all have moments from time to time. And that's okay. We're human. We're having these experiences. That's perfectly okay. So I would love for you to think of yourself, of course, as a healer because you are, but maybe even as a coach. What I would also love is if you could take some time off and just rest or make your vacations longer. I also think you need herbs for your hormones. I am no longer a nurse or a physician. I never was a physician, but I'm no longer a nurse. But of course I was until about 2 years ago. I maintained my nursing license. So herbs that could support hormones would be excellent and wonderful for you and start to get that energy. So when our energy drops, it's just the body telling us it's time to do something else. That's why I don't see 25 clients a week anymore like I used to. I only see 6. That's also why people have to wait longer because I felt my energy not maintaining its vibration. And I believe in following what my energy is telling me. I actually feel very, very fulfilled through teaching and interviews and the podcast and all of that. So I work, I spend more time doing those things than one-on-one sessions. So yes, you need to change it up. So you need different clientele. And I know your clients will be very sad when you leave this type of work, and that's okay. They can go find someone else. Will they be as talented as you? Maybe not, but that's okay. That's not your job, is to stay in a profession. Just because you're really good at it doesn't mean that that's what you should be doing if it's not feeding you. If you're not feeling, rejoiced in the experience, then I highly recommend that you work on shifting. So I would love it if you start to work with people from a spiritual perspective, more consciously with your energy. So you can feel the energy. I want you to talk about it more with your clients. You can even start now with the client groups that you have, is start having these conversations. And then all you have to do is talk to creation. This is all people have to do, is just talk to creation and say, thank you, creation, for my work. It's been amazing and a blessing. I'm now ready to work in a higher frequency that allows me to be fed the special particles that I deserve, that allow me to be more of my magnificence. And thank you so much for bringing all the awareness and all the healthy, powerful people into my life that allow me to have my own happiness and fulfillment. You can use that prayer. Luckily, this is recorded, so you can, listen to it as much as you want to. Because they're all on YouTube. They're all on YouTube, so you can go listen to them. Or you can make your own prayer or use part of mine or part of your own. That's all. It's just time for you to change professions. But I would love for you to have a rest and take herbs for your hormones. So find a naturopath or an herbalist that specializes in female hormone activity. That's what I recommend. And thank you for your work. We're very lucky to have you on Earth. Thank you. Okay, one last one, because I do have to go do other things. I could stay here all day, but I have to do other things.
Hi, Marie. My name is Linda. My energy feels stuck and I'm seeking some guidance or encouragement. I want to find an earth mate or a yummy union so that together we can serve our highest purpose. For me, this is helping and loving animals. I'm also seeing a geographical move in my future. I've lived in Southern California for the past 20 years or so, and it's too hot, too expensive to stay here much longer. Although I have the best job ever that requires me living here. So I get a little stuck wondering whether I move first and then find partner, or find partner and then move. And I also think that I need to work for another 5 years before I can move. Any input you can offer would be so appreciated. And thank you for helping all of us.
Oh, you're welcome, Linda. It's my pleasure. And thank you for taking care of our animal world. Thank you. I can tell how much joy it brings you. So here you are using your logical mind to try to figure this out. You've got to get rid of, I can't do this, or I can only do this. You've got to let that. The universe loves to surprise us. So we have to get out of the way. So here's what I want you to do, because I think you're ready for everything. And thank you for using the term earth mate. I'm not a fan of soul mate, because a lot of times our soul wants healing. And so when people use the word soulmate, that could be a challenging relationship potentially. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to talk to the universe. I want you to say, thank you, universe. I love and adore you very, very much. Thank you, archangels, my spirit guides, God, the universe, whatever words you like. And then I want you to say, I want you to step it up. I really want you to step it up and communicate to me in a way that I completely understand about my next steps. And I want to thank you so much for, allowing me to have this powerful and amazing, intimate, happy, fulfilling, joyful partnership on Earth, and that I live in the perfect place for me at the perfect moment with, of course, continued incredible work. That's all I want you to say. And then I don't want you to think about it. I don't want you to process it. I don't want you to analyze it. I want you to get out of the way. Humans slow down the process of their manifesting co-creative experiences because we're in our brain kind of trying to direct traffic, and that slows down the process. So that's what I recommend. You're ready for all of these things. I did see Oregon for you. You could, of course, come to Washington and live. Oregon and Washington are a little bit expensive too, but maybe not as expensive as California, but we're not quite as hot, but we are a little bit warmer. So that could be a fun place for you. Or an island. You might like an island. Okay, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for listening to this podcast and all the other ones. I will be, next month, I'll be interviewing Judith Orloff. She's written another new book about empath. So I'm excited for that. We'll keep you posted. Today, I am recording on the 15th of May for those of you who are curious. And I wish you a beautiful day. Joyful blessings. Bye-bye for now.